You are now watching a clip from the Inspired by show. You can watch the full episode on our YouTube channel or listen on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. So make sure to head over there, leave us a 5-star rating if you enjoyed it, and follow the show. You did defy all odds. You did go against what everyone told you to do. You were wanting to go into journalism, but you didn't have a journalism degree.
Yeah.
How did you process that no? How did you process that whole well, this is my dream, but actually now I'm being told I can't have that?
Good question. So I have a degree in fashion design and I wasn't planning to become a journalist. But when I graduated and I looked at jobs in design, I, saw how difficult it was. It was very, they're not well treated. They're underpaid. They work really, really hard. And I could see myself kind of not being happy in that journey, because that even started at university. So we were working in the design studio from the minute it opened, which is probably from memory, it was around 8 a.m. in the morning, and it was frowned upon to ever leave. And it closed around 9 p.m. at night, and anyone leaving to go home rather than to the library, which was open 24 hours, was looked down upon.
Wow.
To the point where even the students in the classroom, they also started to develop that mindset and would, it'd be like, well, I have to stay, so why aren't you staying? And it was just, people who would give their entire lives to the detriment of their health to design were the ones seen as the most, successful, going to be something in that world. And when I was looking into the career side of things, I could see that just playing out. And I was like, that life isn't for me.
Yeah.
So another sort of passion of mine was writing. And I thought maybe I can marry the two and go into journalism, but use my fashion knowledge to go into fashion journalism. But when I started applying for things, even internships would tell me, sorry, you're not good enough. Sorry, you don't have the right degrees. Sorry, you have no previous experience that we can go on. And I was really shocked, actually, because mostly from the placements and the internships, I was like, how am I supposed to get the experience when even the places you're supposed to get the experience are saying you need experience?
Yeah, it's a joke, right?
It was literally a whole closed circuit, and it was just for people. Basically, it looks like if you've got an English or journalism degree, you're in. If you don't, sorry, we just can't, we can't take a risk on you. So it did push me back. And after, hundreds and hundreds of applications, it really did get me down, and I felt stuck. I didn't know what to do.
So how did you work out? Obviously, flash forward, you smashed it. And now actually, I love this because I can say this because I think we're enough into the video for it not to get demonetized. But it is a little bit like a FU moment to the industry to go, actually, thanks for rejecting me, because now I'm an editor-in-chief in a magazine and editor of a best-selling book series. So I love this. But flash back to that moment when you had that no. How did you come up with this creative idea to go, do you know what? This is how I'm going to prove it to you and get the experience?
Yeah, so I think this definitely comes back to the whole, I've been told no a lot in my life, and I've been told, you can't do something because I said so. And I'd had enough of that. Once I kind of left university, I was ready to not kind of take that from anyone anymore. So when I was getting that in the job applications, I was like, I've had enough of this. I've had enough. So blogging was kind of like a thing I'd heard of at the time. And I was thinking, well, no one's going to give me the chance. I kind of accepted that no one was going to give me that chance, but I wasn't accepting the no. So I'd heard of blogging and I thought, well, I know I can write, because when I have written, I've had good feedback. Even in university, I did a design degree, but there are modules where you write things. So during those modules, I was always like the star of the class, like, oh my God, Sunna can write. People would line up and ask me to do their writing so that they could get a good grade in that module. They hated it. They were just there for the design, but I quite enjoyed that side as well. So I was like, well, I know I can do it. I just need to prove it. So I didn't have many writing examples because I hadn't been doing that. I'd been doing design work and I'd heard of blogging. So I was like, well, how about I just start my own blog? I create my own website, which will look professional when I'm, applying for things, and then create my own kind of experience portfolio. And so, yeah, it literally happened overnight. I looked at which platform to be on, and I think at the time it was Blogger, which I wouldn't recommend anymore. But it was Blogger at the time, and I literally chose a free template, and I started writing, and I pressed post, and it was simple. I say it was simple. Looking back, it was simple, but it took hours of my time, and I really, I was watching YouTube tutorials to see how to set up the template in different colors and everything. So after that, I pressed publish, and then since then it's just kept going and going. And as I was growing it, people were giving me the chances. People were starting to say, internships were starting to say, oh, okay, yeah, we've got like a 2-week placement you can come in on. And I started to get small opportunities from there.
Love it. And I love the fact that you didn't have the ego attached to that. You didn't get too big for your boots. That you were like, oh, great, now I will have the internship. It wasn't like, ha ha ha, I don't need you anymore. Like there was still an element of, this is what I want. This is what I want to achieve. And you're going to help me get there. How did you know when the blog started taking off?
I guess for anyone who's maybe started a blog or a YouTube channel, something like that, in the beginning, it's really scary because you're only showing your friends and family. And even after you've done a few videos or a few articles, you're like, okay, maybe I should share it now. And you put it on social media. But I guess I started when I got good feedback from that, because I thought everyone would laugh at me and be like, what are you doing? But I started to really enjoy it. And then people who are supportive of me started to support me and encourage me to do, even better, and gave me ideas on how I could improve. And then as I was growing that and starting to get some, internships and experience in the industry, I brought that over to my blog too, because I didn't want to let that go. It helped me get the placements, but I started to really enjoy the control I had and the creative freedom I had in my blog. So then I thought, okay, what if I treat it like a magazine and I reach out to people and I invite them to be on there, like this podcast, or, I reach out to brands and collaborate with them. So I was looking at what really successful bloggers were doing, but also, what the editorial industry is like. And I just started applying it. And because it was my own platform, I was able to just play around and do my own thing. And I was quite surprised that there were brands and things wanting to take part, because for them it's like free publicity. And blogging was just taking off at the time. So there wasn't as much competition as there is today in that particular area. Saying that, it wasn't the biggest brands, but I'd look locally and I'd look at small startups and things like that. And I'd be like, oh, we can help each other because, we're both looking for an audience. So we, combine. So I guess when other people started showing interest in wanting to be featured and all of that, it kind of showed me that I had good quality in what I was doing.